Hi friends, it's Dawn, the Recovery Lady today, and I want to ask you a question. Is it ever okay to mention somebody's weight to them? Whether it's, are you too thin, or hey, you've gained a few pounds, just want to let you know for your health, you might want to look at that, I'm concerned, and you believe you're saying that out of a loving place. Is there ever a situation where it's appropriate for you to mention somebody's physical body weight to them in some capacity? The answer is no. I remember asking this question as a young adult, I think in my 20s, and there was a psychiatrist I knew. He was an internist. He turned into a psychiatrist. I knew him from a social situation, and I had this conversation with him once, and he was one of the most honestly godly and best men I've ever met in my life. He was older at the time, and I asked him that question, and because someone had said something to me, hey, you could lose 20 pounds at that point, and he said, no, Dawn, it's never okay. He said, I don't care if the person is laying in their deathbed, 80 years old, ridden with cancer and on their way out, and they're miserable. There's no time that it is okay for you to mention someone's weight, because the psychological damage can be very critical. Fast forward, it was never a thing that was in my family of origin that would be okay to do, but I'm seeing more and more, especially in the boomer generation, and I don't know, from a clinical standpoint, is that just something generational, but I do know it's not okay. I know a young adult right now, 20s, 30s, who is in a position professionally where they oversee quite a few older, more mature, 50 plus, 55, whatever the boomers are now, people, and they're constantly going up to this person and saying, hey, look like you've gained a little weight. Wow, did you lose weight? Why are you wearing that outfit today? You look 12. And every time I run across this person and they tell me these things, I'm floored. And I started, when I would run past with this person, saying, hey, how old are these people? And I kind of did my own independent research, and inevitably 50s, 60s, and above. So I started thinking, is this a generational thing where they just think it's okay to comment because it's very damaging, and maybe it's something that they had been raised with? But also in my own personal journey and working with countless hundreds of patients and clients in hospitals, clinics, practices, I want you to know I have never had somebody sit across the room from me in the chair and say, Dawn, my loved one or my friend came up to me today and said, hey, you might want to look at your weight. You're getting a little heavy. You might want to look at that. And thank goodness they told me, because had they not told me, I wouldn't have known. Now I will set myself free from the weight. Do you hear the insanity of that? There isn't a time when you're going to say something to someone about their weight, lie through the mask of good intention, and actually cause that person to change. In fact, you're inflicting damage, and now you're becoming toxic. I see this a lot with parents with their children. You better lose weight, you better lose weight. And now we're getting body dysmorphia, we're having eating disorders. I see this on the clinical side evolving. And lately I've actually really went on a very big health journey after an illness to get myself at a healthy place, and I've been getting these comments, and just doing a summary of everything I know and that I've seen and now experiencing it needs to be addressed. Folks, there is never a time that it is okay for you to mention someone's weight. It's none of your business. People have medical concerns. They're comfortable in their own bodies. The common verbiage now is body shaming. And, I talk about the boomers because I'm seeing it generationally a lot, and with that age group, and there just seems, I'm observing it, I'm hearing it in restaurants, and I've actually heard conversations where people are saying, well, I can say it. My intention's coming from a good place. No, your intention is coming from a point of ignorance and toxicity. And maybe you grew up with somebody saying that to you, and maybe that was normal in your family. But just because it's normal in your family doesn't mean it's normal and right. I've had a lot of areas in my life and in my recovery journey where I was ignorant and uneducated on things. This wasn't one of them. I do have some good ones coming from my place of origin. But this is something to be aware of. I am looking at this from the global perspective of what I've seen and experienced, but I'm bringing in my clinical side because every day I'm dealing with suicide assessments and people on the other end of receiving this. Wonderful people who folks well-meaning have burrowed in and caused them to have their self-esteem so low and it tears them up. And I'm telling you, there is not a right time. There is not a situation. And you know what? Where you should mention someone's weight. Hey, you're getting kind of skinny. I think you don't need to lose any more. Did I ask your opinion? Hey, do you think I should lose any more? Do you think I'm at a good weight? Did anybody ask? Or are you just projecting your biases and perceptions on them? Not trying to be harsh, but this is a reality check because I'm seeing the results of these and having experienced it. It is very hard. I've had someone say to me, oh, but I'm in the fashion industry, so I can talk about it because I know what people should look like. Well, if that's your situation, then your views are dated because body positivity is in. And being in any industry doesn't give you a right to say something. If you're a physician and your patient's there and you see a situation that weight loss will help that patient save their life, that's an appropriate thing. Your words are hurting. And hey, if you came from that and you had family members or parents who said that to you, I am so sorry. That is so damaging. Remember, not one person ever changed their life because of your opinion and putting on them with their weight. I actually had somebody tell me recently, oh, now that you've lost weight, I can tell you were so big. Man, were you huge. And I thought, what? Do you think people who struggle with clinical obesity or 5 pounds or 20 pounds, or that may be fine to them, aren't aware of their size? Come on now, folks. We're all aware of our size at every time. And when I addressed that person and said, hey, I find that hurtful, they said, I'm just speaking the truth. Did anybody ask for your truth? And then I'm seeing the extreme cases of people who don't have the boundaries having this put on them come in. It is not okay to mention it. Be aware, listen to the words coming out of your mouth. That might be all you know because that's all you've ever seen and that's all you've ever received. And again, I am so sorry that was your perception. But we all have learned behaviors. I've spent my adult life, 4 decades plus, of recovering from toxic mindsets and examples, and it's a lot of work. But the first step is realizing, gosh, I have I have an ignorant thinking pattern on this topic. This wasn't modeled to me properly. What can I do to learn better so I can do better? And in association with weights, I'm thinking of this professional I know who is this, quite frankly, gorgeous, educated professional who I see it's taking a toll on them because so many people feel, because this person's a public person in the public eye, that people have a right to comment. You see this in magazines, so-and-so, Oprah's up and down. It's not okay. The media feeds it, and it is hurting people, and it is killing their souls. But listen, if you are one of the people doing it, I want to tell you it is not too late for you. It is never too late to turn things around, to say, gosh, I was wrong. Make an amends to the people you may have made comments to. Don't justify your bad choices because it just makes you look extremely unhealthy, outdated, and toxic to other people. And you know what? We're never too far gone on any area where we can't come back. In behavioral health, we meet you where you're at and we move you forward. And that's what this channel is about. It's no shame. The shame is when we speak that our perception of people's body weight onto them. Now you're now you're a toxic person shaming someone. Every time you speak that to somebody, it shames them. You might think they lost too much weight, but is that because you're not comfortable with your own weight? Did that person ask? Did that person ask? These are ways we get to think and grow with ourselves. And if you've been watching my Empty Nest series, this last 2 years as an empty nester and having one of my adult kids married, boy, have I had to expand my mind, grow, make amends to my adult child. This applies to all of us, and I want to create the awareness. It is never okay to say you're too fat, you're too thin, boy, were you so big, gee, you need to look at that. It's none of your business. Pull back. This world tears us down, folks. The Lord wants us to build each other up with hope. Do things that are pouring that type of mindset into others. And as the old saying goes, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything, because your perception isn't reality. It's just your perception. And there's no need to shame them. And I say that with love. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm trying to grow this little channel. You may agree or disagree with what I said. I'd love to have your comments down below. I look forward to hearing them. Love you guys so much. God bless you. Let's build each other up. The Lord loves you. Haven't crossed a line you can't come back from. I don't care what you've done or where you are. You are treasured, loved, and adored. Bye.